Hi, this is Burgo with a walkthrough solve of the Crazy2face Venus. My first goal will be to make a yellow cross, and I'm going to line up my D face inside edge pieces with their respective centres, and then I'm going to match the yellow edge pieces with those centres. So I need to turn up, this one's not matched at the moment. I'll make the circle whole and then I'll turn it off. I can turn down my red one. My red one's not going to turn at the moment, so I'll need to make it a circle and turn that into position. A green one, turn the green one down. My orange one is there now in this position, so I'll turn it down, and my blue one can turn down now. Once I've got my edge pieces lined up, I'll match that up, and I'll just put my corner pieces in randomly into any position. And that's my first step. My corner pieces are in any position because they're unimportant at the moment. I'll solve them last, but my yellow cross is completed. The only reason for me to place my yellow corners at the moment is to get the bandaging out of the way. Presently I'm just solving my inner edges, and I'm going to go around and solve the E layer inner edges at the moment. Like, just for the same reason that I can't move my D layer inner edges out of their orbit, I can't move the U layer inner edges out of their orbit either. They'll always be in place. So my job is going to be to move these around, and eventually my white will be solved because everything else is solved. Moving the inner edges around can be as simple as noticing that there's an opposite one that can go there, and I can switch those two by R2 U2 times 3. So that's put the orange one in its place. So you have a quick look around and see if there's anything that can be exchanged like that to begin with. How I'm going to go about doing this is I'm just going to do it with up, replace down sequences from inner edge pieces that I locate up here. So I'll move down one of these, for example, just by an up replace down sequence, and then I want to place my corner back in, my yellow corner, so that it doesn't block me up with other sequences that I might do. So I'll replace that back down with an edge placement series. I'll do the green ones. I can't just turn that up and down, otherwise I'll be blocked by this. So I can turn it in from the back. I can lift that up, turn it in and down, and then bring my corner across and do that. Red. And my final red piece. And that's got my inner edges all solved. I'm going to do my lower CCs next. My circle corners down here. There's nothing going to muck them up in the rest of the solve, so I'm going to go ahead while I've got the most flexibility and place those. I'll be looking for similar to what I did with Mercury, Crazy2face Mercury. I'll do with this Crazy2face Venus. I'll be looking for something that's going to make a pair in the top there. I've got my Venus Crazy Cube here to show you an example of how we might move some pieces around. And I've marked my U layer. I've marked it 1, 2, 3 and nothing for 4. And likewise I've gone around clockwise here and marked 1, 2, 1, 2, so on around the CCs. Right. This is going to be for the CC placement on the bottom here. So all I want to do is my goal for this step in this puzzle is to bring two pieces together, just bring two coloured CCs together. And because I've got 4 floating around in each colour, it's not so hard to do, but you just have to have some sort of goal or some sort of plan for what to do. So I'm going to bring in some sequences from a little bit later on that I'm going to use more specifically, but I'm just going to use them at the moment to move some CCs around the top. So I'm going to introduce just Soon, and let's have a look and see what Soon does to the CCs on the top. Soon will move CCs from here down. It smashes things quite a bit as far as the CCs go, because we're moving this layer here, which is a circle face, along with a or moving a 0 face along with a 1 face. So let's put that in, and we'll just do a Soon. And you can see I've that used to be 2, so that's moved around. It's moved from there up to there. 4 has stayed where it is. We've introduced a couple of pieces here and a couple of pieces have come down. So we've got quite a bit of a smashing going on. The pieces that remain where they are, so the pieces that you want to keep in a particular place, are the pieces that are attached to this edge that don't move in the end. So you can see this one here has remained where it is, and this one here has remained where it is. So that's interesting to note, that you want to bring a particular coloured CC down, you want to store one, just do it until you get the one where you want it. And notice that this one here is not going to move. So I'll just undo that. And then I'm going to introduce my edge flipping use of Soon with the M turn, so it's an M Soon or a middle Soon, middle slice Soon. So let's introduce that, where I turn up the middle layer with the first turn of Soon, and I'll turn it back down with the last layer, and then I'll just apply my Soon normally. And then turn them both back down together. And you'll notice that this hasn't affected my top CCs at all. So my U layer has remained completely intact, and the CCs have moved around in various ways with the edge pieces there. You notice that my back edge is the one that remains stationary in that case, because it's the one that actually hides. So what I'm going to do is, what's happened is that we've got a 3 cycle, an edge 3 cycle, and the CCs associated with the back ones stay still. So that's the good one for moving things around. Because I'm not drawing from anything up here, I'm able to move my pieces in to line up with these. I'm flipping pieces, I'm flipping this edge and this edge are becoming flipped. You can make up your mind which you want to do. Just applying them fairly randomly often does the trick. So armed with that information, let's see if we can get a couple of coloured matched CCs on the top here and get them down attached to these lower yellow edges. We've got some we've got a orange and an orange. See if we can store one of the oranges in the back edge here, and see if we can move this around. We need it orientated a different way. These are the two that flip though, so we might see if we can flip one first, flip it first. And we've got it straight away. Nice flip to begin with. Alright, so let's see if we can get these two down in there. Now I'm going to use a similar strategy like I said to Mercury, and that is that I'm going to move those around, do an F2, do a M primed or M minus up into there, move them back around. Now they're locked into their positions. I'm just going to do another M primed turn, U2, I'm just putting it back together now, move it back down, and U2, you can see I'm going to turn this on U2 and back down, and they're in. So let's do another couple. We've got some red ones here, so likewise I've got to actually flip one, so let's put one into a position to be flipped, and we've got some there. So now we'll insert that with, and I'll do it a bit more formulaic this time. It's F2, M primed, F2, M primed, U2, M, U2, M. How's that? I've got the blue ones already made, so let's put them down with F2, right, and green, so we need to make the green ones. We have some greens here. Look, if I keep those ones in that position, I might get one down with a cern, because remember they stay the same. So I've got a couple here that I can bring around. See how we go. Yep, we got one. That was just a fluke again. Because there's 4 of them, we only need to get 2 together. I just generally get them to work. So with that little bit of insider knowledge, you just need that bit of an idea about roughly what's going to happen. So let's put those down. And we're ready to move on. I'm going to do my E layer outer edges now, and I'm going to put them in just with EPS moves or edge placement series moves. I'm going to start with this one and just put it down into there. That'll remove a corner like that, and I'll just place that back in with by reorientating with a cern and placing it back in with R2, R2, U minus R2, and that does switch this E layer section around, and that'll be in the wrong spot temporarily. You'll notice that the next one will cause it to go back, so there's no real big deal there. So I'll place this one in here, and then when I put that back, it'll be done. These two are in, but they're backwards, so let's just remove one. And now let's place one. That's going to line up with the reversed piece, and now we'll grab this one, put it in, and the thing will be reversed, but we'll just put it back. And we'll just put it back with R2U2 times 3. And then the E layer is completed. Okay, let's move up and grab our U-layer edge pieces, and how we'll do that is with an edge flip to begin with, because I've got those two edges that need flipping. So we'll use our front, upright front is not going to work here, it's going to scramble some pieces, so I'm going to use my Soon flipping, my M Soon flipping sequence, and flip those edges, and then I'm going to cycle with a Soon, or in this case we can actually see that we've got parity, which is great because I get to show you how to fix parity, because I've got two edges that need swapping here and two that are placed. So for the parity fix, what we've got to do is we've just got to rotate a centre by 1 and restore the edges. So we'll do that by doing R, U, R, U minus, R, U, R, U minus, R, and we've now fixed the parity. We just have to put our corner pieces back to get them out of the way for future moves. So let's do a Soon on that. And let's get this one down. I might put it in this way. I want to try and keep my sequences across one E-layer slice there. And then I'll flip this one with my Soon. And return that with this. Now you can see that all I've got to do is cycle my U-layer edges with the Soons, and when I get one, I can then fix the rest. Just to recap, I've got my inner and outer edges completed around the puzzle, so I've got my cage completed, I've got my lower corners placed down here, my yellow corners all placed but not necessarily positioned correctly. They're placed down here to stay out of the way, keep the bandaging out of the way so I can turn all the faces. And I've got my lower circle corners all positioned. I'm going to do my white ones next, and I've got none up there, so let's begin that process. I'm going to pull some down into my D layer, just with EPS and EPS sequence. Right. And then I'm going to switch it out with something. So I'll just pull something else down. In that case, I've just switched that one out, and I'll put that in that position and put this back. Alright, then I'll remove this back to here, and I'll just replace this with the first EPS sequence, edge placement sequence that I did, and that's come back. You can restore that if you like, and I've placed one. So let's do that again, see how it works. If you wanted to, you could target particular pieces for these. I've got no greens up here, so I can't do that at the moment. I've got an orange, so I can target an orange. So just a little bit more of an advanced step, I suppose. Let's just place this with an EPS, and you'll see that if you kept your eye on the orange one, it remained there. So then when we put this one down to there, I can exchange that and put this back. Then I can place that underneath here so that when it goes up with its EPS, the orange is placed. So you can hit two at once by doing that. these ones here are going to be wrong, they're going to be reds. My EPS down to there, and I'm going to put him back under there and put him back down. One more to go. And they're all left-handed this time. And put this one back down. Alright, look at that. Magic. The next thing I'll do after I've done my white ones is I'll start placing some of these. I'll start switching around some of these. So I want to try and break up the corners, although I want to show you how to do corners as well, so it's not really sure what to do. Anyway, my main method would be to try to break up the corners first, so to try and use one like that and put it there would be the best option, so let's do that. And then if I have no corners to do later, I'll just do one. I'll make one happen. So let's break up this and put it into there. Like that. Then I'm going to put this one down. Now to put this one down, what I've got to do is move that out of the way. So that's a little setup move, just to clear that space. Remember that all we're doing is cycling these edges around a corner. So corners actually don't matter at the moment, so moving that around, it doesn't do anything. I'm just going to put this one down. And then I'm going to return my setup move. That's a pretty easy thing to throw in there. It's I guess a little nested sequence, you might call it, or a nested setup move. I don't know. Then I'm going to exchange these out, return this one, so I'll do my setup move again, and place that one, return my setup move, bring this D layer around, and replace that. Alright. The next one that looks like it's available, well, that's why I did that in that order, so that I could break up something that was happening around a corner. So the ones that are around a corner need another application of soon as a bit of a setup. So we put our red one here, and I'm going to put my red one down, and we'll watch what happens to the blue one. Always keep your eye on the second one that you want to use, because sometimes they get flipped around, and in this case this one here is part of one of the edges that's going to be cycled around, so we just need to keep our eye on it while we place this with an edge placement series. So if your eyes were as good as mine, you'll notice it went to here. So this one here needs to be traded out with this one, so we'll put this one down. Again, we've got this one blocking our move, so we'll move it out of the way, move it back, up, and then we'll exchange the positions and do the one that you carried out last next. So we've got this one here blocking again, so we'll move it out of the way, place that in. Incidentally, when you place your yellow one in, the others go back, so that's what I keep my eye on when I do it. Don't forget to return your setup move, replace that back around, and then put that one back in. The main thing I'm not doing is turning a U face, because that's our other bandaged one, so I'll just place that one back in. I can return that or not, whatever you choose. I'm just sort of trying to retain some sense of order on the bottom so that you're not confused. The last two CCs I have in this situation are a couple of opposites. I've got this one here and this one here, and by opposites I mean they're attached to the same CC. So if I put that one down, you'll notice that this one here is in the U layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to exchange them out between these two, and I'm going to put that one down. Then I'm going to put this one here down. Exchange that out, put that one back, and then put this one back. And what that's done is just moved my situation for me. It's moved them off of each other so that now I can put that one down, put this one down, exchange it, undo this second one here, and undo this first one. And my CCs, or my circle corners, are all placed. I'll nip back and show you what to do if there's two opposite each other. This time my last situation is going to be two circle corners on the same corner. I'm going to apply soon. This one will remain where it is, with this edge that remains where it is, so you just have to remember that. And then keep your eye on this one as it goes around, and you'll see that it'll end up over here. So there it is there, don't around to there, and this one here has remained where it is, just with this edge. So now that I've got them in these positions, I can do the same exchange that I would with the white top layer. So I can put this one down just with an EPS, so there, and then I can come around to this one here and put it down with that, exchange it like that, redo this sequence, or which is undoing it, and then I can put this one back, and after that's done I can undo my soon. So I can undo my soon, and that will put these edges back. You just have to remember, you know, this is where your soon was done, so undo that soon, and all of my circle corners are placed. Now my last step is going to be to place and orientate my corners, and I'm going to do that with corner placement series and double soons to orientate, and make sure that I do them on circle faces or zero faces. But I'm going to first of all take a bit of a shortcut for some of these lower ones, and I'm just going to do them with domino moves. Just that, and then exchange the piece for underneath here. So I'll put that in there, and then put this one in where it goes. And this last one where it goes. That's just a bit of a shortcut, and it's actually left me with an orientation there to finish with. Now if I'm left with a corner placement series to do on the top, like I am here, you'll notice this one here is in its solved position, and my red and blue one needs to come over to here, so I'll be pushing this way to begin with. The first thing that I'll do though is set up with an M minus turn or an M primed turn to make my circle centers go across the faces that I'm going to twist. So all of these are now circle faces, and so I'm not going to disrupt anything else except the outer corners by doing that. So I'll go ahead and do my corner placement series. And now they're correctly positioned, undo my M turn, or do my M turn, and these two need to be orientated. To orientate them, I'll do the same thing. I'll make my twists happen on a circle face. I don't want anything to happen on a one face, so I'll bring this down and I'll just perform a couple of cirns across here. So a cirn here and a cirn mirrored here, and again. And that's completed.